Hi folks, Dave, the man from the East. I'm going to get ready to do my clues from the first book, clues from the second book, because shortly I'm going to be getting the Once Upon a While book. I already want to have these done. So what I'm doing right now is the most important word in the first book was intrusion in Flywater. The meaning of it is if you pull it up, every time you pull it up, intrusive igneous rock is going to come up, and that's all in Palisade sill. Most of the clues are going to have a high significance to something in Cimarron Canyon. Flywater, he's talking about Palisade sill area. The intrusion of people coming into his area that was his alone when he was younger. I think it wasn't established as a state park until the 70s. So you're talking the 40s or whenever, and 50s when he was heading in this area. So that being said, Intrusion is in the first book, and Obtrude and Intruders is in the second book. I'm going to look into Once Upon a While when I get it. That's going to be one of the first things I pick up on if it's in the third book. He may not even have put any more clues in the third book. He might have just got so frustrated. I don't know. I will look it up and I will see. But intrusion, that's your most important word in the book, in the first book. And then obtrude and intruders in the second book. Just so you know, that's the first of the clues that, or the hints that match up in the first and second. Okay, the second big hints that line up is first book. Forrest mentions Maverick on the front cover. On the inside, he talks about being a maverick and figuring everything out. And in the second book, he talks about Amelia Earhart and how she's a maverick. You have Maverick Campground. That's the connection there. He's giving it to you all right there. Okay? That's another point in Cimarron Canyon is Maverick. That's your second one. Third clue. I'm not even scanning right now. I'm still going by a lot of the memory that I have from these. All right. Third clue. Mountain Men. He has a story. Mountain Men. And then he also brings in Mountain Man wisdom. This is for the old man face just after Palisade sill in Cimarron Canyon. These are two of the connections in the first and second book. He talks about mountain men, and then he talks about mountain man wisdom in the second book. I believe that's the order. I'm going to put up pictures of that along with this, but those are two other connections right in Cimarron. Right after Palisade sill is what the from there it's no place for the meek. It's within 1,000 feet right after. It's on the next corner after Palisade sill is the Mountain Man face. Mountain Men, no place for the meek. It's all there. On to the next one. I just looked back. So I applied some Mountain Man wisdom to the situation. That actually was in the first book. I apologize for that. That was in the Lewis and Clark story, and as you have probably seen in my other video about Lewis and Clark, what my take is on that, huge. So, anyways, I apologize. I had those in reverse, but the Mountain Man, he specifically put Mountain Man or Mountain Men story to enlarge the old man face, because you didn't get it in that little quote in the first book. That's my take on it. All right, I have to go back. There's a lot of information up here that I try to give you. Okay, the next one that's in the first book and in the second book is the Vietnam War memorial that he talks about. Page 76 in the first book, My War for Me. He talks about the Vietnam War. He talks about the shiny black war memorial. Now that memorial is along from Angel Fire to Eagle's Nest. That's the memorial, the Vietnam memorial that he's referring to. And then he brought it up again in the second book with another story about the Vietnam Wall plaque. So it's all in there, both the first book and the second book. I don't know what he put in the third book. We shall see. But that's your fourth one. I'm not sure I consider this the same clue, but I'm going to throw it in there. From the blaze, from where the fire pit is, in his story about surviving myself in the first book, he talks about heading north to the cemetery, 1 block north. The second book, he has a story that's called Heading North. To me, that's the connection from the first book to the second book. You have to, if you're lucky enough to find that fire pit, the blaze, you head north, and you come right back down the hill, back where you started, the T.S. Eliot. It's all in there. That's maybe stretching it, but I don't think so. Heading north, you have to head north once you find that fire pit, as he said in that little story about surviving myself. And that's what brings you back to where the cross is. First book, he has the Omega symbols in the back of the book. Second book, he has the Omega symbols. I said early on, I'm not much into the Omega symbols, but these two signs right here in the canyon, right up from Palisade Sill, on that big curve where Clear Creek is, these signs are on each side. That's what I take the Omega signs being. Take it or leave it, but it's in both books, and that pretty close significance is in the canyon. Okay, the 300-foot saying. He brings up 300 feet in My War for Me a couple of times, 300 feet across. He brings up 300 feet in the second book. Palisade Sill is 300 feet high. That was a big one to me. Okay, my take on the Hopalong Cassidy brings up in the first book, Buffalo Bill in the second book, the cartoon pictures when he talks about the other story in the second book. I think it was W.J. Wright or something. All the pictures. These connections in both books are for the people who don't have campers and go camp to search for this. And they might stay at St. James Hotel, which I did a couple times. And all those cartoon figures there. If you can make that connection for something in the area down in Cimarron, not in Cimarron Canyon, but people have gone and stayed at St. James Hotel and searched Cimarron Canyon. I know because I did. When I would go alone, I would stay there. So there's another connection. Okay, as far as the 200-foot quote by Forrest, people weren't getting it in the books. It was it was tricky in the first book if you did not catch it. But he mentions 200 feet in the first book. You can look for it, or I can show you right here. But this is 200 feet. If you want that challenge, you can shut it off and search the whole book for 200 foot and see if you find it. But this is it, coming up right here in this little picture. Now, the second book, he talks about my prehistoric friends staying 200 feet away from them in the woods also. There's your 200 foot. So as far as somebody being 200 feet away from it, it's just another way he was messing with you, because this sign up at Clear Creek that used to be there, around 2017, somebody ran it over, whether it was plows in the middle of the winter or somebody drunk driving through the canyon knocked over the Clear Creek sign. But that ended up leaving, and that clue was gone in 2017 or so, somewhere around there. So as far as the 200 foot, it was literally a clue for us to try to figure out from Clear Creek. Someone has been within 200 feet, and that's how he placed it in the second book, because nobody got it in the first book. So that's my take on the 200 foot. He talks multiple times about grave markers in the first book and in the second book. I can put pictures up of all the different grave markers or grave marker quotes, which makes the connection with the Kent and Esther cross, the grave marker. It's not a graveyard, folks. You're not digging in a graveyard, like he said. Don't do it. A graveyard, not a marker. So don't get nervous about that one, because some people did way back when. This is just to signify where his treasure was. The Kent and Esther, all the connections, pulling it together with the grave markers, with the quotes from the grave markers that he puts in the book, to let you know the homely girl, Esther, searching for Lewis and Clark Kent and Esther. It's all there, all on the grave marker, and it all pulls together. So as far as the grave markers, those are huge. So that's another thing. Windows, okay? Memoirs are a window into life. I put that in one of my other videos. That's a huge clue right there on the front of the book, that tells you, use windows as a clue for palisade sill. Window sill, palisade sill. That is his second home in the wilderness, up on that ridge where the fire pit was, where the fire pit is the end of his rainbow. All of these clues that pull together, they all fit, and they all fit perfectly. I'm just letting you know that's how the windows fit in, especially when he talks about that lady staring out the window as if she was waiting for the postman. He put both of them right in that quote for you. You can only see from Palisade Sill picnic area, or the best spot, which is the same side. You have that overflow parking area. So if you were going to go there to do your search, if you realize that's your search area in Palisade Sill, from the hundreds of different clues that point to it, you're going to park up in that overflow parking. And that's where the cross was. It wasn't down near the picnic area. It was in an area that barely gets used unless there's some big event going on in Palisade Sill. So I saw 100 motorcycles parked there, but still nobody parked up in that area up top. They all pulled over, looked at the sill, kept going. So that little parking area, your Terry Scant, that is the significance of where you're gonna park. And you when you find out the Eagle's Nest is your Homer Brown, and then if I told you where the Homer Brown was, you'd go straight to the treasure. Your next stop, when you realize where there is, you're going to stop at Palisade Sill, but you're going to park in that upper parking lot, that little overflow parking lot. You're going to drive directly straight to the treasure that's 12 feet in from the parking area. So an 80-year-old man could get to it. All these clues that I'm giving you, again, I'm going to wait until I get the book, the Once Upon a While, to put it in here and end up looking for these clues that I've been giving you. And I even know Verde. There's Monte Verde Lake way up on the other side of Angel Fire. Okay? Now that lake, Verde, he talks about fishing on the Verde. He brings in something else about Verde in another story. I believe it was the first book. Maybe it wasn't. I think there's a connection there because Monte Verde, if you look up the oldest remains found are in Monte Verde in another country. That's why he brings in my prehistoric friends, because Verde, Monte Verde, fishing on the Verde, it all connects together in the same area. He goes from Monte Verde Lake all the way down to Cimarron from the St. James Hotel. So all of these clues that pull in, I haven't even brought in the Ponderosa. I was looking in the first book trying to find, I'm sure he says Ponderosa somewhere in there, but in the second book he brings up, I hid behind a large Ponderosa, which was near the target. Phone just shut off for some reason. Okay, Ponderosa parking area, or Ponderosa campground, is right down the road, a mile, 2 miles from Palisade Sill, which is your target, which is where the treasure was. So he hid, using that quote, I hid behind a large Ponderosa near the target. So that connection right there in the second book that he talks about in the Mountain Man, actually he says the story is Mountain Man. So you are looking for one big old man face in the side of the mountain right after Palisade Sill. All these connections, I hope you see them. I'm trying to bring them in together so you understand them in the first and the second book. So as far as that, the Ponderosa, that was a huge one. But knowing where the target is the tricky part. But if you've been wise, okay, what does Ponderosa parking area look like? Because that actually, somebody pointed out to me a long time ago, that Ponderosa parking lot where you park your campers looks like an old wise owl. And that picture's up here. So it's all ingenious and creative and brilliant and connects. So those are more clues and hints from the first and second book that all bring you to Cimarron Canyon somewhere. I know he talks about life as a game of poker. And I think he talks about something else, but you have Blackjack Campground in Cimarron Canyon. There's so many more. I don't have to bring in every single thing, but I just want to let you know this. Everything I've found all pinpoints to Cimarron Canyon, somewhere in the canyon. But most of the main clues in the poem direct you to Palisade Sill. From there, that word is there. That's the most important. And other people will say whatever key is the most important or whatever. They all have their own opinions. But the most important word in that poem is the word there. Because he is pinpointing where your search area is. And if that doesn't click in, you're never gonna find the Palisade Sill, but only a few people did. And that's again why he said only a few people are in tight focus. Other people out there, and if you watch my videos and that was your search area, let me know. You got to that next level where you knew your specific search area. So folks, I'm probably going to end it here. I don't want to keep going. I've got probably even more I could pull out of this, and I'll regret that I didn't add something later. But it's okay. I've given you plenty to let sink in on why it's Cimarron Canyon. Besides the chase is the hidden ravine that leads up to the fire pit. He brings up the chase in the first book. He brings up the chase. That's a simple one. That's and he also talks about his father banging the sign in where his parking spot was. Okay, now he said he banged in the wooden sign near his parking spot, near the door where he would go in. Now turn around from your parking spot in Palisade Sill, and the door, the hidden entrance to the ravine, the chase, is right behind you, probably 150, 200 feet. But it's finding that entrance to that ravine. That is, again, when I found the blaze and I worked my way down to the front looking for the treasure chest somewhere sitting on the ground, it wasn't there. It took me 15 minutes to figure out how to get back up there from that spot. I said to myself, I just came out of there. How come I can't find it? That ravine is really hidden. And it's only one certain area in there that you can get into that ravine. But do not go up in that ravine. As I said, there's too many trees. It's too dangerous. But for a young kid, piece of cake. I did it. My girlfriend did it. My buddy with cancer did it. My son did it. We all went up through there. Part way up, you got to bear to the left and go up the steeper hill that you can still climb, but not too steep. A little bit further over is way too steep. That's to look quickly down. It's all there. It all fits. I'm just giving you the information. Do what you will. Dispense the information, however, but this is the actual solve, and this is all of the answers that lead you to it. Okay? Now I'll end it. All right. Thanks, folks. I am Dave, the man from the East. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Let me know what you think. Give me 2 thumbs up. Subscribe. Things are going to get interesting. Have a great day.